What are the things that drove you crazy then as a parent, but it breaks your heart a bit now that that moment has gone? The kids grow up so fast. Stay with us. Hello, welcome to the Happy Families podcast, real parenting solutions every day on Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. Today, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of, is reverie the right word? Some reflection, an opportunity to look back on the things that make parenting so hard and yet make it so meaningful and purposeful. Kylie, I jumped onto Facebook and asked this question. You know what everyone said? Pretty much every single answer we had.
It's pretty much toddler years.
Yeah, that's right. I miss when I was exhausted. I miss when my children were biting, kicking, scratching, when they wouldn't eat the food and threw stuff all over the floor. I miss those days. I miss the stinking. I'm reading and going, no,
there were some great ones. There was reading the same book over and over again.
Yeah, don't miss that.
Bedtime routine where you're going through the motions and trying so desperately to have everything calm, and your kids are bouncing on the bed and just having a ball. And, you know, the sass and the sticky fingers, the toilet training. Oh my gosh, toilet training. You know, lying with your children when you're trying to pat them to sleep and you've got to try and hide from them, or trying to work out where the creaky floorboard is so that you don't stomp on it as you walk out the door.
Yeah, I mean, I get some of the nostalgia with some of those, but for most of them, I'm just glad that we're not dealing with it anymore. Now that we've got a granddaughter, I love not having to deal with most of this stuff. I just love the cuddles and the fun stuff, but I already loved that, and I'm literally asking the question: what did drive you crazy, but now you miss it? And I love some of the answers that you gave. Is there anything for you?
Yeah, there is. There's a couple. The first one is that curious toddler who wants to know why.
Oh, yes. Why?
As a young parent who felt so time poor and so frazzled most of the time, another why just often would send me over the edge.
Yeah.
And yet I think back to those years, and what was so beautiful about that was our kids' desperate desire for connection and curiosity. They want to understand the world around them firstly, but they trust that you've got the answers. And now we've got teenagers who, number one,
they know everything. They're not curious about anything.
Not curious.
Like, they know it all.
And we definitely don't have all the answers.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So I really miss those times, and how number one, how much easier their questions were.
I know. Yeah.
But secondly, their desire to connect.
I've got one for you. This is going to be weird because I complained about it incessantly. And I think if I had to start doing it again, which we won't because our kids are older, but if I had to start doing it again, I would complain again. And yet it's still one of my favourite memories. And that is when our children wouldn't go to sleep, and I would have to go into the bedroom and I would lay on the floor and put my arm up and through the bars of the cot, and I would pat them off to sleep. And usually I would fall asleep on the floor beside them and wake up at, 11:30 or 1 a.m. And you wouldn't come and get me because you were so exhausted that you would fall asleep waiting for me to finish patting them off and come to bed. So I'd just wake up with a crick in my neck, and having slept on the carpet, having slept on the floor for an hour or two or three or four. For some reason, as much as I hated that, I kind of, it breaks my heart that I don't get to lay on the floor and pat my kids off to sleep anymore. Is that weird? It feels weird saying it, and yet it's how I feel.
Well, I don't really miss that at all. I'm very grateful to be sleeping in my own bed again. Yeah. But I did used to get really, really frustrated with the kids coming into our bed at 3 a.m. or whatever time. And
I don't miss that.
They'd kick you in the back and they'd sleep sideways and you'd end up with a bum in your face, like all the things.
Yeah.
And again, I guess for me, it's just the acknowledgement that they knew and felt so safe with us. And again, just knew that when they needed reassurance, there was a safe place to go. I love that they knew that, but at the time, I absolutely hated it.
I got one more for you. One more. And I think you're going to think this is a weird one. But now that our children are older, so we often now, I shouldn't say often, but with a lot more regularity than ever before, we have the house to ourselves. Some evenings, maybe 2 nights a week, the kids are all out and one child's running another child who doesn't have a license around the place, and we can delegate that responsibility, and they're happy to be out and driving, listen to music in the car and driving their siblings around. And so we'll be at home. We get to have dinner alone once or twice a week, maybe once a week. No kids. I know that when we go out for dinner or when we get to have a date night and we look at each other and go, oh, the peace and quiet, how good is it? But it's kind of different when you have an event where you go out and have dinner versus you're sitting at home and it's just the two of you without the kids. There's no noise. There's no conversation. There's no discussion about...
That sounds like heaven to me. I might have a few more years before I'm going to be in the same position you're in. And maybe that's because for me, I still feel like I'm very much actively parenting.
Yeah, I guess so. And we are making it hard for ourselves because we had 6 kids and there's only... With a 15-year age gap, our youngest being 11, we've got an almost 2-year-old granddaughter running around the place as well. So the house is starting to get that toddlery feel again. We've had to lift everything off the bottom shelves and there's toddler toys around. But I don't know, it's just the noise. The noise, we don't get it. And
you clearly are away way too much because there is noise in our house.
I miss it.
Like I never. I think the neighbours sometimes think someone's being murdered. Oh, no. And that's when they're singing.
Yeah, that's right. So that's kind of me. Is there anything else that's on your... This might be the world's shortest podcast we've ever done. Is there anything else from you?
The last one for me is play dates in the park. I used to really, really struggle with going along to the park and letting the kids play and just kind of being present because I would literally be doing a mental take of what I still had to do when I got home. And often those play dates would last for hours because we're all stay-at-home mums. We were looking for something to keep our kids occupied so they weren't destroying the house or we weren't having to deal with the ongoing challenge on our own. And while there were moments where I really appreciated it, for the most part, I actually resented it because there were so many other things that I would have liked to have been doing. But now as a woman in my mid-40s, I recognise the absolute privilege and blessing it is to have women in your village. I think that with the changes that have occurred in society in general, most families have 2 incomes, mum's working as well as dad. It's getting harder and harder for women to come together and spend time together, building that village, building that community, and I miss it.
And it's also the downtime, right? Like, so much focus on efficiency and getting stuff done. Imagine being able to just go and sit in the park and enjoy it and watch the kids and not have that feeling of pressure.
Yeah, totally. And when I think about that specifically, one of your followers actually said something so profound in relation to that post. She said, I wish I loved it more when I was in it, but I just didn't have the perspective. And I remember so many times older, more mature parents would see us
struggling
up to our elbows in mess and kids and sass and the whole thing. And they would look at us with fondness and say,
one day you'll miss it.
You'll miss it, but you'll wish that you'd loved it.
Yeah.
And we would both look at each other and go, they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But the reality is there is a part of me that deeply, deeply wishes that I recognised it and appreciated it for what it was in the moment.
Well, normally I've got the take-home message, the key takeaway. I think you've just nailed it. Soak up the moments, even the hard ones. Be present. One day you'll look back and you'll miss even the stuff that you can't believe that you would that you would miss. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. If you'd like more information and more resources to make your family happier, we'd love for you to visit us at happyfamilies.com.au, and we'll link to that Facebook post in the show notes.